Hey, Caleb. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
I know I started 4 minutes early.
It's okay.
I went to Supercuts yesterday,
Why would you do that? Oh, you got your own haircut.
and I walked in there, and there was no one in there, just the receptionist and a haircut lady, and she didn't have any customers. And she
I
said, and the receptionist was this young girl with the mask on. I don't know, 20 years old. She just looks at me. She goes, "You're not going to shave your head, are you?" I go, "I am going to shave my head." She goes, "A number 4 all the way around?" I go, "I don't know. I was thinking about like a number 3 on top and a 1 or 2 on the sides." She goes, "You can't do that." I'm like, "Oh shit, did my wife call ahead? Like, what is going on here?" I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You have such beautiful hair." I said, "Oh, thank you." I go, "I don't want to be one of those old guys with like really long hair that just looks like a douche." She goes, "You're not old." I go, "I'm pretty old." She goes, "You don't look old." I go, "Oh, okay, that's cool. Thank you." Then the lady who cuts the hair, she's probably like 65, long hair, and she talks really slow. She goes, one of those people who just every word just comes out really slow, like you're talking to a cartoon character that's like a snail. She's like, "I think you should just maybe cut the sides and leave the top long."
Okay.
So it was weird. So I went in there and she just gave me the haircut she wanted, and it's like I think it's the fucking best haircut I've ever had in my life.
Really? And that was at Supercuts?
It was a Supercuts. I can't believe it. I went in there to have my head shaved. I mean, don't you think it looks pretty fucking amazing? Look at it.
Yeah, I'm honestly impressed.
I look like a normal person.
Yeah, they cleaned you up pretty good.
Hold on, I can't hear you. What?
They cleaned you up pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not even like uneven.
No.
That's my biggest issue when I go to Supercuts is that they jack it up.
I think I look
That's
like
why.
I think I look like a model. I look like one of those old men models.
Yeah, you look great. You look, you could be like a Louis Vuitton model or something.
I had to beg for that. It's too late. You could have said that before I said I look like a model. You didn't say shit. You didn't say
Yeah,
shit.
you actually look like shit. So sorry.
But I was like, holy cow! I look. She made me. This is like. And then the whole time she kept telling me how handsome I look, and I was just like, maybe that's what happened. She cast a spell on me. She told
Of
me more
handsomeness?
times in that haircut that I look handsome than I've heard it in my entire life combined.
That's weird.
Look at
I
Austin.
only I
Look at even Austin wants a piece.
I only hear that from gay guys or old black women.
There's an old
That's the
white
only
woman.
time. That's the only time anybody says that I'm handsome. It's
There's
kind of
a
disappointing.
Yeah, gay guys. I get a lot of handsome from gay guys. You know, the thing is they're just not afraid to say it. It's that they're free.
Can you
Yeah,
guys hear
that's
me?
true.
Hi, yes.
I cannot hear you
shit.
guys.
Cody's really handsome. That sucks. That's gonna fuck up.
Yeah.
Everything's relative.
Look at his jaw.
Okay.
Look at that thing.
I can hear you now.
Uh-oh. Did we have an
Well,
echo from Cody? No, it's good
Yeah.
now. Yeah, getting a good haircut. And you know what's crazy? She was in there. I was like, "How long you been cutting hair?" And she's like, "I don't know." I forget what she said, since 1979 or something. I was 7 then.
What?
And I said, she goes, "I really love my job." She goes, "I like making people feel good." And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." Kind of like Cody. And then she said, a
good
guy
haircut.
came in to get his haircut, and she goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I have to go pick my daughter up from somewhere from work, and I don't have any more time for haircuts today." And then when he walked out, she said, "Oh, I feel so bad. He really needed a haircut." I was like, "What is going on?" I'm like, had the angel of haircuts cut my hair yesterday.
At a Supercuts. Every
Her,
time I've been there, it's just been douchebags.
her name is Lola, and she's at the Supercuts in Capitola. Anyway, Cody, what's up?
Not much, man. Nice haircut.
Do not start with this.
Oh, this guy's a podcasting genius, just coming in.
Unbelievable.
Hey, is that your? Are you at the gym?
Yes.
What room is that?
This is my office.
Oh, that's nice.
Can
Do
you
the
show you
staff?
around?
Yeah. Do the staff have access to that?
Yeah, we do our staff meetings in here.
Oh, that's cool. So if you, oh, that's really cool. And then you got a coffee maker in there and a microwave, the essentials.
Yep. There's a fridge too.
Coty is not up for Supercuts talk. Maybe let's I'm gonna say, can we start a poll, Caleb, and we'll check it at the end of the show? And we'll ask the poll is, does Coty get haircuts or does he cut his own hair? And we'll ask Coty for the answer at the end, and you can vote. So yeah, he also has a nice large mic. Well, it's very observant of you. And this morning we were shot out of a cannon.
Thanks, Jeff.
Oh, Coty, thanks for coming on. This has been one of my favorite and easiest and most fulfilling kind of things I've tackled, is doing these kind of affiliate shows where I'm trying once a week to interview an affiliate, and I'm trying to do affiliates that I've never heard of before, because I feel like there's like these 20 or 30 affiliates that always get like all the attention.
Sure.
To no fault of their own, but they're the guys for some reason that, you know, you always see on the site, or that they're always being interviewed, or always get the meetings with the CEO. So
yeah, man, absolutely.
Cheers. Yeah.
Cheers.
You're in. Where is your gym?
It's Charlotte, North Carolina.
And is Charlotte a coastal town?
No, we're about 3 hours from the coast.
Okay. And what's the name of your gym?
CrossFit Mountain Island.
Mountain Island.
Mountain Island, yeah. It's misleading.
Sevan, don't you do your research? Why didn't you know all that before? Hey, you jackasses, I'm asking so you can know. I don't want to hear any dumb shit in the comments. Work out, get fit, be happy. You are, how old are you?
29.
Man, you're doing it. And you're married and have a baby in the oven.
That's it, man. Well, my wife does, but yeah.
Right. Important distinction. Well, congratulations. That's all pretty awesome. I stumbled upon the Instagram account, Conservative Hippie.
Oh yeah. That's my wife's.
Yeah, I don't normally use this word because I don't mean it in any condescending way, the way Dave used to use it to me. I'm so proud of your wife. I'm so freaking proud of your wife.
She's stoked to hear that.
Yeah, I went through her Instagram account, and she is the best version of herself. She is like, God, and congratulations. She seems so beautiful and so down to earth, and like someone who really wants to work on herself. And I was just like, holy crap, he scored. What a cool chick. Yeah.
I'm out of my league for sure.
She is so cool. Brave as shit.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Yeah, she's the bravest person I know.
And she works at the gym too.
Yeah, we both run it together.
There's a ton to unpack with Coty because he's got tons of wisdom and advice and knowledge and know-how and experience on running a CrossFit gym. And yet also he himself has been on a remarkable journey from being a young man to kind of, when he described himself as a kid, reminded me of me. And we'll get into that. Didn't play any sports, chunky, and just CrossFit was kind of like the first thing that kind of late in life, well, most people maybe were turning in their sporting mindset. He found something that, oh, maybe I can be an athlete. Maybe I can do something competitive. And so it's a pretty cool journey. And then on top of that, there's a constant theme in all of his posts and presentations that he really wants to help people, that's like his calling. He likes to work with people, likes to make them happy, likes to introduce them to things to make their life better. Fair assessment? Fair assessment?
Yeah. Okay. You're making me blush.
Oh, good. That's good. That's my job. By the way, Caleb was eating. That's why his jaw's moving like that. He has not got addicted to meth.
Well, not be too sure.
Coty, let's go back to the beginning. You're born and raised in North Carolina?
South Carolina. So where I live, and Charlotte's on the border of the states, North and South Carolina. So I grew up in a town called Indian Land, South Carolina. It's just south of like Ballantyne, which is a kind of affluent part of Charlotte. So I grew up in South Carolina for the most part, and then spent most of my time between either North or South Carolina. All my family's in South Carolina, but then I was the first one to move in North Carolina when I bought my first house 6 years ago.
Oh, congrats. Holy shit. Congrats. No accent.
Carolina. I'm sorry?
No accent.
Yeah, no, man. I've got, I don't have the Southern drawl. My dad's got it, and most of my family does, but I don't know what it is. I didn't get it.
You didn't try to not have it. You just didn't get it.
No, it wasn't intentional. Even from a kid, like I've always had like a really more of a Northern like language. I talk pretty fast. So coaching's helped me kind of dial that back a little bit. But even as a kid, my grandpa would tell me to slow down, being, in South Carolina. But yeah, no Southern drawl, but it wasn't intentional.
And, and you grew up just, you grew up with both your parents, siblings?
Yeah, I've got one brother. He's 21. He'll be 22 in a couple months. And it was just the two of us and my parents. Yeah.
And there was there was that photo of you. You weren't just chunky. You were a fat kid.
I was a fat kid. Yeah.
Yeah. You weighed, I don't know when it was, but I saw somewhere you weighed up to 260 pounds.
Yeah. I remember that was kind of a pivotal moment in my life. I remember stepping on the scale at the doctor's office. It was late in the day. It was around dusk at a medical plaza in Fort Mill. And I stepped on the scale, and the woman kept tapping the scale over, tapping it over. I was probably 16, maybe 17 at the time. And it went past 250, and that was the first. I was like, holy shit. And she kept tapping it. And I think it was up to 258.
God, that's crazy.
Like, yeah. So on the left, that was me on a dock at my grandma's house. And believe it or not, there's a girl on both sides of me holding my hand.
Oh yeah.
Girls. Yeah, no, but they were just friends.
Charity picture.
Yeah. Charity picture.
How does that happen? How do you get to 16 years old? What's the lifestyle that you live from being born to 16?
Like 258, 260.
Yeah, tell me typical days for you growing up, like watching cartoons and eating boxes of Ritz crackers, or.
Dude, yeah, I mean, pretty much, man. Like it was a lot of. I mean, it was like most people that are in that position. It's at that age is ignorance, So I remember, as long as I can go back, having friends that were skinny, thin. They weren't overweight, but we did the same things. Like I had this friend AJ. We'd sit in this. His parents had a little warehouse by their house, and they owned a printing company. So we'd sit in their offices and play RuneScape and video games all night and drink Mountain Dew for 12 hours straight,
Yeah.
And just eat whatever we wanted to. And he was thin and I was the fat kid. And that never really made sense to me. But to answer your original question, yeah, I mean, most of my time, if I wasn't in school, I was playing, Call of Duty 4, playing video games, watching TV, watching movies, just eating ramen noodles. My parents had this like little island in the kitchen that had a bunch of just snacks and treats on it, like grab and go type stuff. And I was just addicted to food, addicted to feeling good.
And Call of Duty?
What's that?
Did you get the new Call of Duty?
I don't, man, because I've got to control my environment, or I'll get re-addicted pretty fast. Is it any good?
I haven't tried it yet. I've been stuck outside of the U.S.
Hey, you can't play that there, Caleb, from there?
The internet keeps cutting out every time we try to download it.
Oh.
Sounds like Big Brother.
Is your brother in the military? Coty?
Mine? No. So that sounds like Big Brother. They're not letting him play.
Oh, Big Brother. Okay. Did you drink Capri Suns and boxed juices and Keebler Elves crackers and lots of.
If it came out of a box, I probably ate or drank it. Yeah, I mean, sweet tea. I mean, I remember looking back. So in the South, sweet tea is a big thing, right? I remember watching my parents. They'd make a gallon of tea once every day and a half, and because we drink it, and I mean, I would watch my mom put cups of sugar in sweet tea, like probably 2-3 cups at a time, just for 1 gallon. And I mean, we could go through one of those in a day. easily.
Was there any talk about healthy eating in your house growing up?
Yeah, we'd go through seasons of it where it would be like everyone else, like we'd make a good effort. And then, like I remember doing the South Beach diet with a mom for a while. Like I remember eating peanut butter before bed as like a healthy snack. And then, I mean, it wasn't that my parents were like not making an effort to be healthy. My mom's a nurse, she works in the hospital. My parents aren't like obese or sick or anything. It was just kind of a cultural thing, I guess. So,
right.
And it was also like not really knowing what to do. I mean, I think there's just a lot of ignorance around what is healthy eating. So like we'd have, some nights would be pork chops and vegetables, and then other nights would be lasagna and pizza. I mean, it's just the standard American diet, but the thing that comes to mind is the deviation from normal was a healthy meal. And that was the problem. It was like we'd have a meat and a vegetable, but that was a deviation from normal, where normal was just random.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think my mom was trying to keep us really healthy, but like you said, no one in a lot of ways they just believe what the TV set said, right?
Well,
so
yeah, healthy, 7 to 14 servings of grains a day, right?
Non-fat milk, low-fat Keebler cookies,
exactly.
Healthy whole grain Ritz crackers. I mean, you know what I mean? Just all the shit that was written on there.
Cereal for breakfast, for sure.
Yeah, tons of cereal for breakfast. Tons of my house always had orange juice in it. Always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
fresh and natural.
Yeah, I think that was the only thing that my dad actually poured an actual serving size of for us was orange juice. I always get so mad that he didn't fill it like all the way to the top of the glass. You'd fill like half a glass. I was like,
only 8 ounces.
Yeah, right. Everything else was like a full bowl of cereal. And
all my kids' glasses are 4-ounce glasses.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, you just get a 4-ounce glass. And you just re-pour. But I don't give my kids. My kids have never had juice.
Yeah.
No juice, no soda. In hindsight, it's even when I think about it, I'm sure I had it too. We weren't allowed to have soda in the house, but I can't even imagine giving caffeine to kids now in my current mindset. But back then, like if you were drinking sweet tea and Mountain Dew, and I've seen those videos where they show moms putting Mountain Dew in babies' bottles.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the thing called Mountain Dew mouth?
No.
Oh, man. It's basically they give kids Mountain Dew just from a young age, like from when they're babies. And then by the time they're like, 10 years old, their whole entire fucking gum line and teeth line is just completely rotted out.
Jesus. Another reference for that word is Appalachia. So that's an indicator of what goes on over there.
And you're right. It's because they don't know.
Yeah.
It's because they don't know.
It's sad, man. It's just like walking around Walmart makes me sad.
Very, right? So you're 16 and you get to and are you playing any sports at this time? Are you doing any activity? Do you avoid PE class as a kid?
Man, we could spend the whole show like all my childhood in school. It's just crazy shit. No, I mean, I wasn't avoiding. I didn't play sports. So I played baseball for a few years, like coaches picks. That was like probably the longest sport I played as an adolescent, but that was before high school. A lot of my weight came on, like I would probably say if I had to roughly like 6th grade to maybe 11th grade. So like there was a span there where I got out of baseball. I didn't play any sports. I skateboarded. That was the extent of my activity was skateboarding. And I skateboarded for 6 or 7 years. But as active as that is, you're still riding on a piece of wood, so there's not a lot of exercise happening there.
And with kids, that culture too is kind of like, hey, let's skate to 7-Eleven, get a bag of Doritos and a Mountain Dew, right?
Oh, for sure. Arizona sweet teas, going to Taco Bell, trying to win as much free shit as we can off those little quarter spinny things, and then go skate for 4 to 6 hours on the weekends.
I did Taco Bell too. That's fascinating that you did Taco Bell. I would get like the 12-pack of soft tacos and eat them all to myself.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Did you used to do that?
I went more for like crunch wraps. I didn't like the soft tacos at Taco Bell. So not the ground beef and the taco. It didn't sit right. Like the crunchiness. made me ignore what the beef probably was, I think.
12
In the Midwest,
tacos and
we have-
12 packets of hot sauce.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Hot sauce.
We're
is
just
jam.
shitting fire.
I didn't even
Literally.
care. I was a trash compactor. And even though I was the smallest kid amongst my friends, I would always eat the most. And I would always tell them, like, if they ordered one omelet, I would order two.
Just on principle.
I just, they were amused by how much I could eat. And if I could get attention doing that, I probably just did it, would be my thought in hindsight.
Yeah.
In the Midwest, we have Taco John's, and they sell a thing called a 12-pack and a pound. So it's 12 like hard shell tacos, and then a pound of potato olays, which is basically like hash browns, like mini hash browns seasoned. And so that was like our thing with the football team is like, oh, in your preseason, you gotta fuel up, so you go get a 12-pack and a pound in between your two-a-days.
And dip them into high fructose corn syrup that's called ketchup.
Yeah, sour cream, and all that shit.
The essentials.
Did any of the kids did you ever kids make fun of you or start pointing out to you that you were heavy? Like, did people start talking about your weight, your friends?
Yeah, they were really good at it.
They were professionals. What would they say?
Oh man. There's a few very vivid memories that stick out. I remember this one time I was probably 11 or 12, maybe. I had just gotten a cell phone. I remember this kid calling me. It was a kid and a friend of mine. Well, friend's a strong word in retrospect, but they called me probably 2 or 3 a.m. and they prank called me to tell me how fat I was. So they woke me up to tell me how fat I was. Yeah. So that happened.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember that. I'll never forget that. But just like kids would, they'd call me the fat kid. They'd walk up and try to scoop my man boobs, that was a thing for a long time. So then I wore hoodies and walked with this really kyphotic forward position so the kids couldn't see my man boobs. I remember that. That was a big part of high school. Getting bullied in the bus, riding home. It was interesting, man. It was like my friends liked me because I was a good person. But all these kids that didn't know me, they would just assume that I was, I don't know, lacking value.
How did you take it? Like in the moment, how did you take it? Would you take it like a champ, or would you hide the fact you were offended? Or
no, I wasn't the kid that would laugh along. I mean, I would just introvert and ignore it and walk away, or just avoid eye contact.
Just take that shit and push it down. I'll deal with that in my 30s.
Yeah, lock it away. Exactly.
Did you, at that point, did you have any aspirations as that starts pouring in? Do you catch yourself doing weird shit in your room at night? Like before you go to bed, do a fucking 100 sit-ups, or start trying to do push-ups, or avoid situations of ever taking your shirt off if you went to a pool party? Like, how did they get that picture of you right there with your shirt off? How did you get, what were you doing with your shirt off? Shouldn't you have been so embarrassed at that age? I swam with a shirt on.
Most of the time I would avoid situations with taking my shirt off. I remember spending, 20, 30 minutes in the mornings before school trying to find clothes that I wasn't embarrassed to wear. I would avoid going to pool parties or taking my shirt off at the beach. I just avoid all situations that I may have to be, shirtless. And then I didn't really lean into the exercise thing. I wasn't doing push-ups for bed. I would make efforts. My mom was really cool, and she got me this. It was one of those flat benches that's upright on this steel contraption that you could hang on and do dips and leg lifts on. I had that in my bedroom for a while, but that was a wasted effort. It was like someone buying a treadmill and then using it for a coat rack. It was good intention, but no follow through. But it goes back to ignorance. I don't know what I should be doing with this freaking machine in my bedroom,
Right.
And I'm not gonna do enough leg lifts to out perform the or to overcome all of the
talk
crash
about
in my diet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I had one of those essentially.
Oh, no shit. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool that she bought you that.
It was, dude. Yeah. So she was really, really supportive, and she always has been. And in retrospect, I know she really wanted to help me. I just, like most people, I just don't think she knew how,
Right.
most parents don't know how to help their kids not be fat.
You know, it's interesting you say that. I never thought about that. My mom knew that I was really insecure about my weight, or I think she did, but she was so busy working. But in hindsight, maybe she should have insisted that like I join a track team or some shit, like just push me through some hardship, let me get made fun of, and then make me so I could get to the other side.
I mean, there's some value to kids bullying me. I mean, it worked out.
Right.
And like in retrospect, I'm glad they did. It sucked back then, but I mean, if they hadn't, I would have just gone through life thinking that it was okay.
Right.
Which would have been way worse.
Right. Way worse.
Way worse.
Way worse. I don't know if you saw the episode we did with an affiliate owner last week named Matt Schindeldecker.
Yeah, but he's doing the program with the at-risk youth.
Yeah.
The younger kids, yeah.
And his mom got on a school bus and killed the bus driver right in front of him.
Yeah, he was the last one on the bus, right? He changed schools.
And if that wouldn't have happened, a horrible incident, but if that wouldn't have happened 28 years later, he wouldn't have the experience. Like that didn't happen in vain, because now he uses that experience to help all of these kids.
Yeah, well, we're all responsible for what we do with our life experience, right?
Was there a rock bottom for you with your weight? Was there a moment in just your whole identity that, like, did you remember the moment that you're like, okay, I'm going to take control of this shit?
The rock bottom that I can point to was that time in the doctor's office. And it's interesting because the reason I was in that situation to begin with is because my family and I, we were moving down to Garden City, which is just south of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So I actually graduated high school a year early, and I was going down there to begin prerequisite classes for nursing. So I was getting some, just basically a checkup done before we left with our family medicine doctor. And that was my rock bottom, but it worked out because I had this gap this summer where I was moving somewhere that I'd never been before. I didn't know anybody. And that was a catalyst for me that led to me just starting to learn about, okay, how do I control this? Like, how do I lose this weight? What do I do? Because I was going somewhere that no one had this preconceived notion that I was the fat kid. So that was a chance to start over.
So you walk out of that office and what was the plan? What was your next step?
There was a lot of like shame and like just frustration because I didn't know what to do. The first thing I did was just started running, man. Like I knew that the kids that at school that ran, they weren't fat. So I'd start there. I think I did that. And I picked up a Teen Nation magazine and I asked my mom to help me learn how to cook. So like my mom taught me how to broil chicken breasts, which taste like shit. She taught me how to cook some vegetables in the oven. And then I had a friend of mine, Robert Wendover, in high school. He'd actually lost about 80 to 100 pounds over the course of a year from like his junior to senior year. And I remember asking him, like, dude, what did you do? How did you do this? And one of the things he said was that he stopped drinking soda and started drinking diet Lipton green tea.
Uh-huh.
So I think I bought like 4 24 packs of that, put it in my bedroom, and then like running every day, started like baking and broiling chicken and vegetables. And I just stopped eating trash, stopped eating fast food, stopped drinking soda, stopped drinking sweet tea, started drinking diet Lipton green tea. Like it was a cure for cancer. And then I ran every day. And I started off just, I'd run out off the front porch and I would try to get to the end of the street, running towards the beach, which was like maybe a mile away. And then every night, I eventually found a loop that was about 3 miles. And every night I would just set another target. Like, okay, tonight I'm going to run to the end of the road. All right, tomorrow I'm going to run to this next mailbox. Okay, now I'm going to get to the light post. And then after a couple months, I was getting that runner's high. And then I was getting daily positive reinforcement because I was making it further. And then eventually I ran the whole 3 miles loop without stopping. And that was a huge deal.
Were you ever embarrassed about going running? I can remember even when I first found CrossFit, I wanted to start running, and I lived in Berkeley at the time. And I was just embarrassed that I didn't know how to run. Like, what are people going to think? But I would just have to block that out and just go out running anyway. But for some reason, is that why you did that? You ran at night so no one would see you?
I would see you, yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I always thought I
And
was going to get lost, and I thought somebody would know I was going to getting lost while I was running, so then I just wouldn't. That was like the story I told in my head. Everybody knows I have no idea where I'm going.
That could have happened.
So, had you ever run before in your life? Like the first day you ran, it must have been like you ran 100 yards and you were exhausted.
A dog chased me once at my friend's house. That was probably it.
but
Never intentionally. Yeah, I was always like, all right, baseball practice, you got to run suicide sprints. I'd never gone out for a run of my own volition.
Wow, crazy. And did you ever run with anybody?
Not that I remember. No, not during that period. No.
And then
headphones, and I was just listening to music, and
and then what happened next? What was the next evolution in that? Did you start seeing weight loss as you did that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I started seeing weight loss, man. It was that was the bit most powerful thing was it started working. Like after I saw momentum and I saw progress, it was just reinforcement to keep cooking my own food. Stop eating. That was the hardest part. Is like we still had the same food in the house. My parents still had the same habits of just shopping for groceries. I just asked them to also buy me some chicken breast and vegetables, and I just had to choose to eat that instead. But once you start seeing, once you go from being so overweight and you start to see your body changing and clothes are fitting better and people are giving you attention and seeing it, that becomes more addicting than the food. So the next evolution was so it's interesting. My guidance counselor had actually screwed up and I was missing one math credit. And this was actually a great thing that ended up happening. I had to go back to high school down in Myrtle Beach for my senior year and get that credit. But the credit I couldn't take that class to my second semester. So I ended up just taking a bunch of bullshit classes in high school to finish my senior year. And I signed up for weightlifting and weight training. So I got exposed to strength training for the first time in my life after I'd lost a lot of the weight. And I was essentially just working out with football players. That's what it came down to because they all took that class, and the wrestlers. So then I got into wrestling. I took wrestling for a semester, or I took wrestling for a season. I played football that season, met some guys, got exposed to weight training and strength training just in a high school weight room. Started lifting weights. And it's interesting. So when you're that fat for that long, your body inherently has more skeletal muscle mass to carry that weight around, right? So I lost a lot of the fat. And I was a lot stronger than I would have expected. I would have been not having lift weights before. So I wasn't bad at it. I wasn't weak. And just seeing the progress of losing weight, feeling better, and then seeing the progress of getting stronger, I just got hooked. So then after high school, I graduated, my senior year, and then I signed up for a gym membership down the street. And I just kept lifting weights and kind of conventional bodybuilding splits. I would go in and bench press, do machines, all that stuff, the curls and everything. But I would go for 2-3 hours a day.
What was that like? If you didn't play any sports and then you sign up for wrestling and football, those are fucking hard practices.
Yeah, it was hard.
And how did the other boys treat you?
Well, they didn't know me, so they didn't have this preconceived notion that I was this fat kid. So, it was the best year of high school of my life, of the years leading up to it, it was.
And that was your senior year?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was cool. And it's like that decision, well, how all that happened was interesting because that affected the next 3 years of my life. But I essentially got exposed to this social circle in high school of quote unquote the popular kids and the cool kids and the jocks and the kids that are into sports and the party kids. And I'd never experienced that before leading up. And it was this just sudden social acceptance that I'd never experienced in that way. And I just leaned into it hard. I went up, I partied a ton. I went out to all these house parties and talked to girls and had all these athletic friends and these cool friends. And it was the exact opposite experience of my life leading up to that point, which was really interesting. But the kids in the team, they accepted me. I just tried. I tried hard, and I wasn't the best. I wasn't like an athletic, anomaly. I just went to practice and made friends. But it was great because I mean, the alternative would have been I would have met no one if I hadn't gone to school.
And you kind of, it probably is kind of like how CrossFit was for me. You went in there. How tall are you?
6'1".
Oh, okay. So you're tall. So 260 is not as, it would be crazy if you were like 5'8".
Yes, that would have been a different, yeah. Person.
So you, at this point, you're also finding yourself too, right? You're like, oh my God, like I can play football. Oh, I can wrestle. Confidence is just freaking skyrocketing. I'm guessing you went there terrified. Like I wouldn't want to switch high schools my senior year. That sounds terrifying.
Yeah. No, it wasn't exciting. I didn't know anybody and I was the new kid, but what are you going to do? On the bright side, I wasn't fat anymore. So that helped.
Yeah, that's crazy. What did you get down to? Do you know? Yeah,
my lowest was 181.
Wow. Hey, is that what you wrestled? 185?
Yeah.
And how all that weight that you had put on, that 80 pounds you had lost, did it affect your body permanently? That's a lot of weight to put on. Like to this day, do you have extra skin, or do you be like, yep, that's.
It's surprising, maybe a little bit, but not very much. Not as much as you would think. Yeah.
Because I do that show with Andrew Hiller, and I don't see it on his body, but he used to be fat, he said, and he'll show me, like he'll pull his skin together and he'll be like, look, this is from when I was so much fucking overweight. But you can't see it on him if you're just standing next to him.
Yeah.
But he can feel it to his touch, and he can gather it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can do that too. Like there's definitely some fat, like there's like skin, like there's still skin left over. It's not just like a washboard, but it's not as much as you would think with someone losing, 70, 80, 90 pounds. Yeah, but it's also, it was a long process. Like that weight loss took me over a year. So I'm not sure if that impacts like your body composition as opposed to someone that maybe has like a surgery. To
right.
Get that weight off.
Or someone who's older. The thing is obviously the younger you can catch it, the better. But I always think about that when I see kids who are so heavy, and I'm like, fuck, it's like you got a car and you're going to have it for 20 years, but in the first week you crash it so bad that you can't be fixed, and you got to drive it around for the next 19 years.
Yeah. I saw a kid like that yesterday. I was at the zoo with my wife. I took her for our 1 year anniversary, and she was probably 11, and she was every bit of 240.
Man,
it just sucks to see it, dude. It sucks.
Yeah, breaks my heart. And she should be an 80-pound girl.
Yeah.
Nuts. Yeah, when I see the kids who they put on so much weight that it's like severely affected their locomotion. Like they walk, every way they move, the way they move their arms, the way they walk, everything has been altered by the
I've had clients come in like that, dude, like kids that are 9, 10 years old, and like they move like they are fresh out of a retirement home. Like they're on the back end of life. And that's what their proprioception, their coordination, their mobility, their like self-awareness, their kinesthetic awareness, it doesn't exist. It's like for the past 6 years, they've just sat and done nothing with their body, and they can't use it, And you have to like reteach them. And it's like, you're 11.
Yeah.
Why can't you understand this concept? It's crazy to see. It's sad to see.
So then do you go to nursing school when you finish your senior year?
I did. Yeah. Well, I started nursing school. So and that kind of segues the new social life thing, because I got into nursing school, and then I was doing the prereqs for nursing school, and I was going to Coastal Carolina, which is it's a party school, and I can confirm it's a party school. So I majored in that essentially. I had a nursing major, but I was partying a lot, and I wasn't taking school seriously because I had this whole new life experience of just all this social acceptance that I'd wanted for the past 3, 4, or 5 years of my life that I'd never gotten. Looking back now, I think that was part of the experience. So I did prereqs for a couple of years. Like I was doing my prereqs for nursing school, and then I was flunking out. I wasn't doing great at all in school. And then
were you training?
Yeah, like exercising. Yes. Yeah.
At a Globo gym.
Yeah. I mean, if I left my house or my apartment, it was to go to class sometimes, to go to a party, or to go to the gym.
Okay.
Like that was it.
Me too.
That's all I did. So yeah, I kept lifting weights, a couple hours a day, every day, and started going to school for nursing. I mean, I always had an interest in like anatomy and physiology. So even like in junior year, sophomore year of high school, I was taking A&P classes, like college level A&P classes and science classes. And I had a teacher that really helped me grow in that study. But, you know, after I started doing the labs, and the idea of being in a hospital and working in medicine just did not appeal to me at all. It was just gross. But like you said earlier, I've always had an inclination to help people. Like that's always been on my heart. I'm pretty empathetic, but yeah, there was just no interest in being in the hospital once I got into the major.
And
with that,
it sucks.
Yeah, it seems like it would.
Yeah,
it's what sucks. It shouldn't, but like at the end of the day, like as medical professionals, you guys' responsibility is to essentially help people manage their sickness when it's really just, it should be on them. Like it's just a lack of personal responsibility makes it.
But it's always, and it's your problem because you can't fix it with something that is immediate.
It's
you have people coming in. Yeah, you have people coming in with injuries that they've had for 2 years long, or like 2 years, and they're like, "Oh well, I've tried physical therapy for a month," and I'm like, "Okay, what have you done? Anything else? Like, you haven't tried, obviously. Like, you're going to physical therapy once a week for a month. That's 4 sessions, if that, and you're obviously not going to see any benefit."
Yeah, your definition of trying is skewed.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. Sucks.
Caleb, is that, did you go to RN school?
No, I got my degree in athletic training, so sports medicine. So I got to work with a bunch of athletes when I was in college, and then outside of college, obviously, I started doing the same thing. But it's kind of similar, kind of not. We're not super in a clinical setting. We get to go out on the fields and see and like watch the sports and get a lot of acute injuries and stuff. But now my job now, I'm sitting in a clinic all the time where I'm working inpatient. Like you're seeing people monthly for the same issue, and you're like, why the hell are you not getting better? And like you really just wish you could follow them around 24 hours a day and be like, stop that.
Slap that.
So it's not crazy. It's not only stuff that they need to do. There's a ton of shit they need to stop doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
J.R. Howell, there's nothing like helping someone who wants to be helped. This is rarely seen in an inpatient setting. J.R. is a nurse. I think his wife might be a nurse also. He's a retired nurse.
Male nurses for the win.
So you go to college, but really it's a place to work out and meet girls.
Yeah.
And it involves a lot of alcohol and loud music and house parties. And then what happened? But you don't lose your love for fitness that you finally found your senior year, being around some kids who finally didn't harass you, didn't fuck with you. Although we acknowledge the importance of that. And you get into sports and you're starting to find yourself and build confidence. And then what happens after that? What's the next? Is that when CrossFit came into your life?
Very close. Yeah. So I ended up moving back to Charlotte. Once I stopped going to Coastal, I got out of school. I was trying to just reassess my life and kind of reevaluate my priorities and what I was going to do.
You actually graduated?
No.
Oh, yeah. Neither did I. Good job.
Yeah, I don't have a degree. No. But so I stopped.
How many years?
Did I go to college?
Yeah.
2.
Oh, okay.
2.5.
I put in 7 of undergrad.
Nice.
Beast. Okay, go on.
Is that when you're homeless? Like you chose to be homeless for a while?
No, that was homeless came after that. That's when your parents stopped paying for your college. 7 years of undergrad. They're like,
they're champs.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
My mom.
That's reasonable.
Should have been going to school then. 7 years.
Dude, I would have. Dude, I went to UC Santa Barbara. I had a very similar. I did exactly. I only went to class to look at girls. Okay. So then what happened?
So I I stopped going to college, and then I worked for a little bit, and then I thought I'd go into the military. I had some friends that were in the Marines, so I had an interest in the lifestyle they were talking about and telling me about, and the real reason was I still wanted to get into stay in medicine, but the idea of a hospital setting wasn't appealing. And the appeal of the military with the fitness requirements and the activity level was attractive to me. So I thought I'd go into the Marines. I tried to go to the Marines, but then I already had tattoos at the time. And during this part of the military, organization, they wouldn't allow me in the Marines with the tattoos I had because of the sizes of my tattoos. So then I went to the Navy and I looked into being a corpsman in the Navy so I could still go out with the Marines. And I got pretty far into the process of being in the military. So I think it was the ASVAB. Is that the right one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I took that and I was talking to a recruiter about getting a ship date. And you'll like this one. Back when I was in college and working out all the time, and then the interim between, I used to smoke cigarettes. So I smoked like a pack of Marlboro Reds a day, and that didn't lend itself to the best conditioning. So I got into CrossFit to get my conditioning up for basic training in the military. That's how I found CrossFit. And I was like 20 years old.
Going back a second, do you remember the first cigarette you ever smoked?
Yeah. It was with this kid, Zach, and we were in between house parties. I was probably 18 or 19, and we were in Myrtle Beach we were at his apartment near Broadway at the beach. Yeah.
Did it make you throw up?
No.
The first time
I never inhaled any smoke before.
Yeah, I was I was partying with some friends, and then this girl said, "Hey, you want to smoke a cigarette?" I was probably 18, 19, 20. I was probably 20. And I said, "Sure." And we climbed into the back of this pickup truck, just random pickup truck in Santa Barbara. And people walking around everywhere partying, and we're back there. And she hands me a Marlboro, and I smoke it, and I just fucking
puked.
Yeah, I started spit. Yeah, I was drunk as fuck. I started spinning and puked all over the fucking place. But that didn't stop me.
Dude, I got
I kept smoking.
like that once,
yeah. I had no idea about the Marine Corps about this. I just
I didn't get in the military. I don't talk about it because I didn't get into the military. I didn't actually follow through with that. That wasn't a part of my life. That was just part of a chapter of my life when I was trying to find out what my future was.
I'm just looking at what it says tattoo policy. You can have tattoos anywhere on your chest, back, torso, upper arms, upper thighs, and groin. There are no restrictions as to the size, shape. So they've changed this.
That just got changed pretty recently. It changes like depending on whether we need people or not. That's like one of the standards that we can just use arbitrarily for no reason to say like, oh, we want it. Like it depends on who for us, it's the chief master sergeant of the Air Force. Like if she decides like, hey, we want to, I believe that it would be better if our airmen or our Marines or our whatever had less tattoos or something, and they can just decide to like implement that rule. It happens all the fucking time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So now they're so desperate for people, they'll take anyone.
Exactly.
Okay.
They're waiving like, I think they're waiving marijuana use, and some ASVAB scores got reduced pretty significantly. So
that instills confidence.
Massive. Tell me about it.
What did your parents say when you said you were going to join the Marines? Were they concerned?
Yeah. My parents were like, my mom's like most moms, right? She's protective and she's worried about me. So she wasn't excited, but there was still like some pride there. My dad was really proud of me. He wanted to go in the Air Force, but he couldn't because of an issue with his vision that he's had as a child. So he could never get in. So they had a lot of pride and concern, like I think most parents would, but they supported it.
And so you pivot and you want to go, you're going to want to become a Navy corpsman, and to get in shape for that, you find a CrossFit gym. How did that happen? Who told you about CrossFit?
I used to date this girl, Cassie. Her name was Cassie Coley. She lived in Rock Hill. She was a few years older than I was. I think when we were dating, I was like 19. She might have been 25 or 26, and she was doing CrossFit for a while. And I was the guy that made fun of CrossFit because I went to the gym and benched and did curls and couldn't squat 135, you know? So I would make fun of CrossFitters and say, you know, you're gonna get hurt doing it. It's dangerous. It's stupid. But I think she was over one day and she had me watch the CrossFit games. And I remember seeing Kristen Clever back in like 2013 or 2012 and doing a CrossFit Games event. And I was like, she's a badass. You couldn't argue that. So I searched, you know, CrossFit gym near me. I found one that was like 3 miles away from my parents' house because I was, you know, living home at the time. And I just thought I'd go by. So I dropped in one day. Well, I walked in one day. I didn't drop in to take class, but I walked in one day and I remember walking up to the building. It's a, you know, it's your traditional CrossFit gym. It's in a warehouse back in a business park. They've got garage doors rolled up. I think it's late in the day. It's kind of past dusk. So the light's low. There's like, you know, lights inside and the lights are like silhouetting this dude in a squat rack. This guy, Ryan, I remember him still. He was just yoked out of his mind. This guy was probably 6 feet, like 240, 235, but just, you could see every muscle on his body just popping out. He was doing something with a barbell and it was so intimidating. I was like, I don't know how to do any of that shit they're doing there right now. I can't do any of that, you know, but I'm not going to bail. So I walked up and walked in the gym and introduced myself to this guy named Eric. He was running the gym at the time. And just told him, you know, hey, I need to get in shape for the military. I think I'm going to go to the Navy and I need to get ready for boot camp. And they're like, all right, great. You know, our foundation class is tomorrow night at 6. Why don't you come take that class and go through foundations and then you can join. So that's what I did.
And that was that. Had you ever even deadlifted in your life at that point?
No.
Yeah, I remember when I found CrossFit, I had never heard of a deadlift either.
Nope.
Fucking nuts, right?
Even back in like the gym, like in weight class in high school, I mean, all we did was bench press. They had a lot of machines in there, and then we would do a little bit of back squatting, but no, like probably quarter squats with,
right?
Safety pads.
Jeremy Eat World, Caleb, and the truth to the more lib states reworking the PT test because soldiers have been complaining about it not being inclusive. But of course. And you were addicted from when you went in there. You took the class and you were just addicted.
Yeah. Look, man, it was because I'd never been good at anything before like that in my life, and I spent so much time weight training that I was kind of strong, like strong enough, and I was young, so I was like 20 years old, and there was a competitive part I didn't know was there. So when I had a chance to express that. And I was decent at it. Yeah, I got hooked.
What movement was your go-to from the beginning? What movement were you the most proud of?
I was actually pretty good at deadlifting, believe it or not. I'm pretty tall. I'm tall. I've got long levers, got pretty long femurs. So I mean, I think within probably 6 months, I was deadlifting 405.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can dig this. For me, it was pulling.
Pulling, like pull-ups.
Yeah, just pulling. Yeah, just muscle ups, pull ups. I was like, I sucked at everything. I was the least athletic person you ever met in your life. But you're right. I found something I was good. There was such a vast variety of shit to do in there.
Yeah.
I was like, well, at least I can. I can't beat this girl in 20 of the fucking events, but in this one I can.
Yeah.
I'm in the game.
Yeah.
And you loved the community right away. Is that when you went in there? How did the people treat you?
I see someone, Bailey's, asking which gym. It was CrossFit S3 in Indian Land, South Carolina. Yeah, man, I love the community. I got into it, and I mean, there were all these men and women in their early to mid 30s that immediately I just connected with, and I made friends with right away. And the head coach was great. He took me under his wing. And I made a lot of friends. There were a lot of people in that gym that I got close with pretty fast. And, I was a 20-year-old hanging out with the guys in their mid-30s with families and just trying to learn from them and hang out with them and just learn from their wisdom. Yeah. And, how it goes.
Are you a pretty standoffish guy?
No, I don't think so.
No? Are you pretty stoic?
I've been told I'm stoic.
Yeah. I mean, in when I comb through the internet looking for stuff about you, you seem very stoic to me. maybe standoffish was too strong.
What does stoic mean to you?
Reserved in your you have thoughts that maybe you don't share as frequently as other people who they have a thought and then they just share it.
That's probably accurate.
But even being that kind of person, you went in there and you felt welcome. Like people just embraced you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that happens in all CrossFit gyms. If it doesn't, that CrossFit gym's probably not going to last.
It was the opposite of high school.
That's a great way to put it.
The opposite of your freshman, sophomore year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because they were adults, I think.
And when did I'm guessing that at that point, the desire to go to the Navy started slipping and the desire to be more affiliated with doing something with CrossFit. There was some sort of shift there.
Yeah, absolutely. If I think back, like, I don't know that this was a conscious decision or thought, but I think I was probably looking just for a group to be a part of and be accepted by, right? So like identity, I mean, if I can go into the Marines or the military, there's identity there. There's peers, there's a group to be part of something bigger than yourself. And as a young man, I mean, I can't imagine I didn't want that, so I must have been looking for something, and I found it in CrossFit. So I remember the coaches at the CrossFit gym. There was a coach, Christine, the other guy, Eric. They seemed like good people. I saw them working at the gym. It seemed like their lifestyle was great. I was pretty good at CrossFit. People liked me. So I asked the coach if I could get my level 1 and just learn to coach. And that seemed like a more appropriate way for me to help people than working in a hospital personally. Right. Because I'd gone through this journey of like losing a lot of weight at this time. And, I wasn't done, but I'd gotten pretty far. And I had friends and family asking like, hey, what did you do? How did you lose this weight? They were looking for guidance. So I'd already experienced that level of leadership a little bit. So it just seemed like a natural progression to look for it in CrossFit or to find it through CrossFit.
Yeah.
I didn't know I'd go to the gym one day, but I just wanted to be a coach. I wanted to work out and I wanted to go to the CrossFit games.
You did. So you had aspirations for that also.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The competitive side of it was appealing.
And when you asked the coach if you could take the level 1, what did he say? And how did that play out?
Yeah, he said that I could take it. And if I got my level 1 and passed the test, I could take the onboarding classes and the on-ramp classes. And he would teach me to coach.
Wow. Did he pay for your level 1?
No, I think they might have done half of it, but that was a while. That was like almost 10 years ago.
Wow. That's fucking cool. And what did you think of your level 1? Did that take you to the next level in terms of your passion? Yeah,
man. Yeah, it was life-changing. I mean, I still remember a lot about it. I mean, I remember the guy I sat beside was a guy in his mid-30s, and him and his partner were about to open a gym, and he was the money. His partner was the coach, but he needed to get his level 1 so they could have the affiliate in his name. I remember, sitting beside him and talking to him about that. I wish I remembered my trainers, but I didn't know. Like, I was 6 months into CrossFit, so I didn't understand the value of like the seminar staff at the time. But I remember getting my first strict muscle up because the coach is there. They taught me through that. Yeah, man, it definitely set me on a path.
Yeah, sure. That's crazy. That's where I got my first muscle up period.
That's all.
Was at my level 1. I couldn't even fucking believe it. And I remember it was because of the seminar staff. I think maybe it was like Greg Amundsen.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you get it like at the end of the second day in front of everybody? They like
not in front of well, back then it was different because there would be like 40 or 60 people taking, and then there would be like 40 trainers there because people who'd already taken their level 1 could come back, and they wouldn't be like the official trainers. There were still like only like 4 or 5 official trainers, but then they would be like advisors. But he just yelled at me. I think maybe he said to me, quit being a pussy or something. I think that was the cue I got.
Effective. It's a strong verbal cue.
Like when I did mine, they let me try like 4 or 5 times to get a restricting muscle up, and I didn't get it. It was like very demoralizing. It's very sad.
Bet. Yeah, it can go one of 2 ways.
Yeah, it was very embarrassing.
I got mine. And, yeah, it was a cool moment.
So you finished the level 1, you come back and you just dive full head into coaching at this point?
Yeah, I mean, as much as I could. So I was still working at Ruby Tuesdays at the time as a server. I mean, I was a server for a while, even from Myrtle Beach up into Charlotte, before I got into coaching.
Server's a waiter? That's a waiter?
Yeah.
Wow, a stoic waiter. Would you be charming to your guests and work the tips? Hi, how are you doing? Good. Nice to see you guys. Oh, is this the seats you normally sit in? Come on, we got a nicer seat here by the window. That you did that?
Yeah, you learn to wear hats, man. You have to.
Oh, wow. Okay. I just can't see you doing that. All right. Yeah, that's awesome. I always wanted to be a server, and kind of like now, whenever I go into a coffee shop, I'm like, I would fuck this shit up. I would be.
It's easy to fuck up.
Well, no, I mean fuck it up in a good way.
Oh, okay. Like be great at it. Oh yeah.
I'd be schmoozing the shit out of people.
Sure.
Oh my God, your dog is so beautiful. Oh my God.
It's just people.
I would mean 99% of it would be authentic.
What's the 1% that wouldn't be?
Just the fucking guy. If you came in there just looking rich as shit, I might say some shit that's like not true just to get some of your loot. So you do that, and at some point transitions to wanting to actually own your own gym.
That's like a long road, right? So, well, I mean, maybe not that long. It's pretty long. Yeah. Eventually it led to me wanting to own my own gym. So I got into CrossFit. I was coaching at CrossFit S3. And I was trying to pursue being good enough to be competitive in the sport of CrossFit. So all of my time was spent, when I wasn't working, coaching and working out.
So the coaching job and the weighting job were to subsidize this desire to compete.
I wouldn't say it was a subsidize, because it was a passion I wanted. It wasn't a means to an end. Okay. But it made sense to pursue it to allow me the freedom to also train to be competitive. So I was at that gym for a while, and then there was another gym down the road, CrossFit Weddington, which had a more competitive edge to it. And they had a team that had gone to regionals the year prior. And I got in with one of the guys that worked out there. I forget how we met, but he invited me to come train with them on Saturdays at their team training, Saturday mornings. So I met the owner. I met some of the other athletes there, and I started kind of going back and forth between both. So I'd coach at S3 and I'd take some classes and I'd work out there. And I'd also work out with the guys and girls at Weddington sometimes. And then there was just an organic transition from S3 to Weddington because I had more opportunity there. I had more chances to coach. The owner was kind of a mentor for me, and he kind of brought me in. And then there were people there that I could push myself against to get better as far as an athlete goes, and to coach, honestly. I mean, in retrospect, I didn't realize at the time, but I became the coach I am today because of my time at that gym with Corey, the owner.
Meaning he was a good mentor. You learned a lot from him.
He was a great mentor. Yeah, I learned everything from him.
Is that gym still around? Yeah.
I went and saw him like 2 weeks ago and hung out with him for a few hours. And
so you're doing this job waiting, and when you went to this new gym, Weddington, did you also pick up coaching hours there?
Yes. Yeah. I eventually coached full time and I stopped waiting tables.
Okay. And then are you living at home at this time?
Yeah.
What is your mom must be so proud of you to see you've gone through all that. Your mom and dad.
I think so. I think that they were proud of me for like taking control of my life, at least my health, and then finding something I was passionate about. I think that they were proud of that. And there was a path to a future there. It wasn't like I was squandering my life or just wasting time, and it worked out. So.
And you quit smoking and quit drinking?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because it was affecting your goals to be a better athlete.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. Quitting smoking is hard, right?
Also quitting smoking is hard shit. But like the lifestyle, like being in, I don't know, I feel like you can't be in a CrossFit gym, like really be in a CrossFit gym and hold on to that kind of lifestyle. Like, because if you're holding on to that lifestyle, I'm not sure how into the CrossFit gym you really are, especially as a coach. Like if I'm training people and I'm a coach and I'm like some kind of leader in the space, trying to like help my clients and people in class, but I'm also like on the weekends going out and getting hammered and smoking a pack of cigarettes, like that's not going to last. That's fake. That's not going to last very long.
Right.
So it was a natural progression to get rid of those habits and quit smoking. But yeah, you're not going to go to the CrossFit Games if you're smoking cigarettes, for sure.
I remember in the early days, I haven't seen it in a long, in forever, but I remember in the early days going to Europe for I think it was a regionals and filming there. And there would be teams. I remember the Italian team in between events would be smoking cigarettes.
No shit.
This is like in 2010 or something.
Yeah, I'm wrong often. So
no, you're not wrong, because that shit doesn't happen anymore. You don't see that shit anymore. Okay, so then from there, you killed as a bartender, Sousa? I bet. God, I bet. Sousa's really good at taking abuse too. Like someone could talk shit to him, be like, "Oh, let's talk about it, buddy." And like next thing you know, they're fucking giving him a 10 spot for therapy.
I believe it.
He's a world-class therapist. So then, from there, tell me about how you got into the gym. How did that happen? Where you decided, okay, I'm going to open my own gym.
So I was at Weddington for a couple of years, training out of there, and I was getting closer and closer to qualifying for regionals, which was kind of my big goal. I really wanted one of those name placards that has your name,
Yep, that's cool.
Yeah, so I spent about 4 years pursuing that goal. From Weddington, I moved on to CrossFit South Charlotte because there was an opportunity at that gym to manage the gym and get like a base stipend, like a salary, quote unquote. And they also had an even more competitive drive in that gym. So they had gone to regionals as well. Whereas Weddington's team had kind of like aged out of pursuing that goal. Like they got in families and it wasn't a priority anymore. So then as South Charlotte had a younger demographic, kind of like where I was at. So I trained there for a couple of years, managed that gym while the owners were in Asheville, kind of removed from day to day. I picked up some personal training clients that I trained out of their garage.
Coty, this is the 10,000 square foot gym with like almost 200 clients I've heard you talk about?
Yes.
South Shore. Did you say you managed it?
Yeah. I was a manager for them.
Wow. Were there other managers?
Before me? Yeah.
No, while you were there.
No.
So you were the guy there.
I think so. The owners, they still had a really heavy weight in the gym. So like Jeremy and Abby, everyone that was, all of the members that were kind of foundational to that gym, they still loved Abby and Jeremy. But Abby and Jeremy had moved to Asheville. They'd opened another affiliate, or 2 other affiliates actually. And I was the in-person manager, and I was the guy, I guess you could say, there for a couple of years. Yeah, just me.
Why do you think they gave that to you? That seems like a lot of trust. Someone's gym like that is their baby.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I went because when I originally went to South Charlotte, I was just going to train with some friends of mine, Josh, Nick Brinson, some guys that I was trying to pursue. So is that CrossFit Charlotte? That might be Andy Hendel's gym. I was at CrossFit South Charlotte. But so that's where Taylor Self's at. I'm sure you know that, but he's at Andy's gym. I was at another gym, CrossFit South Charlotte, which the owner used to be part of CrossFit Charlotte. But anyways, I went there to start training, kind of trying to go to regionals. There were some guys there that had gotten close to qualifying, and we wanted to make a team. And when I got to the gym, they had a manager at the time, Rick Ball. He was a really good friend of Jeremy's, who was the owner. And they kind of went back to being PJs back in the day. And Rick was kind of like an interim manager. Like he was doing him a favor, but it wasn't his long-term plan to be a manager. So then I think they just saw this like 20-something-year-old come in that didn't have a family, that was at the gym all the fucking time anyways. And they were like, hey, you're a coach. We can teach you some of this admin stuff. If we give you like a salary, would you want to manage this place for us so Rick can pursue other things? I was like, yeah, why not? I'm already here as it is. Like that'd be helpful to have a little more income and some responsibility. And it's
those the softwad guys?
Yeah, they're the softwad guys, exactly. Yeah, Jeremy.
I followed that for a really long time.
Really? Yeah, dude. I mean, I remember they had softwad banners up, and I would listen to Jeremy talk about programming for it. He's a great programmer. He's a smart dude.
Yeah, it was good shit.
The nuances to this story are so important for everyone to hear, especially if anyone in leadership at CrossFit is listening. You have Andy Hendel, former professional football player. You have a guy splitting off from one gym to open another gym. You have pararescue guys. You have a guy who's the main character of this story, Coty Bradburn, who was using CrossFit to try to help him set him up for success in boot camp. It's something that a lot of people forget. that the foundation of this that we have, the base, it is a certain kind of person. And I'm not saying that it has to cater to that person, but it shouldn't be forgotten who the base is. There's a strong theme in all the affiliate interviews we do. These are all interesting stories about how gyms split, who leaves, the support they get. Even the way you hear Coty talk about all the ex gyms. Now we've heard about 4 gyms, and everything has been positive and fondness and mentors and leaders. And it shows you it shows you just the deep interconnectedness between all of these people and what their goals are, what their issues are, what their, their families, what they've done. It's cool. I really like it.
The guy, so you're absolutely right. So Corey, the guy that owns Wednesday, he also branched off of CrossFit Charlotte. So like Brian Strump owns Steel Creek. I'm pretty sure Brian branched off of Charlotte, opened Steel Creek. Corey branched off of Charlotte, I'm pretty sure, to open Weddington. And I'm pretty sure Jeremy branched off of Charlotte to open South Charlotte. I might be wrong about that, but like they're all connected, like you said. I used to go to Corey's, the guy that owns Weddington, that mentor of mine. When I was a coach at his gym, I'd go to his house every Sunday and have dinner with his family, like with his kids and his daughter and his wife. We'd hang out and, watch church and have dinner and hang out every Sunday night for months.
Did you say watch church?
Yeah, like Elevation Church would stream their services.
Oh, and he would just play it up on the TV.
Yeah, he play on the TV.
Watch church. I never heard that phrase. Watch church.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then that is true. Matt Souza did kill Jeffrey Dahmer. A lot of people don't know that. That actually is 100%.
So he killed like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, darn it. Okay, damn it. So you're at that gym and you found this new group of guys, and so you're still pursuing the dream. Guys who are close to being regional in the team, and then what happens after that?
So Josh, Nick, and I were pursuing regionals, and then we qualified for the Atlantic regionals back in 2017 as a team with 3 other girls. So we qualified. It was actually the guys that qualified was me, Josh, and Brandon Hedrick. Brandon owns CrossFit Dilworth with his wife Gracie. So we qualified for regionals. We went and competed. That was great. I had a fun time. Then the next year I was pursuing individual, and I bought a house kind of up this way in a town called Belmont, which is pretty close to Charlotte. It's on the outskirts of Charlotte. And my mom had a friend, this one that was an attorney. So my mom was in an incident at work, like 10 years ago, where she was in a patient's house. A dog tripped her. She fell on the stairs, really messed up her knee. Yeah. And that led to her having this autoimmune disorder called RSD, which is essentially like nerve pain, like nonstop nerve pain. So she had to hire an attorney, and they had to go through this whole process to get workers' comp involved. And anyways, she knew this woman that was going to the gym I own now. So one night my mom calls me. I'm outside of I think I was outside of Target. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, complex regional pain syndrome.
Characterized by severe burning pain.
She would describe it as like her foot being on fire, just always, just for years. So interesting fact, if you have RSD or know someone that does have RSD, the only thing that ever gave her relief was hyperbaric treatment.
Oh, damn, that's good.
Yeah.
Damn, that's good. We had a hyperbaric expert on here. Man, that shit sounds
legit.
It's legit.
Yeah, legit.
Wow.
So she calls me. I'm outside of I'm somewhere shopping for. I was getting my toilet paper for South Charlotte CrossFit. She's like, hey, my friend said that the guy that owns her gym wants to sell it. She thinks you should buy it. You should go check it out. Okay, Mom. Yeah, that's gonna happen.
And you're already spread thin. You just bought a house.
Yeah, I just bought a house. Like a few months prior. I was like, yeah, okay, sure, Mom. I'll go talk to the guy. So I remember leaving. And the gym, from where I used to live, was only 12 minutes away. So it wasn't like a big ask. I just stopped by and walked inside. I remember walking in the front door, and it was, oh my God, it was tragic, man. Like I walked inside, and this dude is teaching like a boot camp class, but he has like 3 members there. It's probably 7 p.m. There's like 3 older clients that are just like, I think they're doing bear crawls and maybe kettlebells, something. They were doing something with kettlebells. And this guy has his back to me. So I walk in the front door, half the lights are burned out. And he's like looking at his phone, and he's just like texting on his phone while these people are working out. And I just stood there for like 5 minutes, didn't say anything. He didn't know I was there. He didn't look up at his phone while they were working out. So I walked across the gym and I was like, hey man, I heard you want to sell this place. He turns around, looks at me. He's like, looks me up and down. And he's like, yeah, let's talk. Like, all right. So he finished his class. I guess you could say he finished his class. He wasn't going to do anything about the class, but we met in his office, and I was like, I heard from so-and-so that you want to get out of the gym and you want to sell it. And I run a gym down the street and I'm interested. So long story short, that's a fucking crazy story. This guy didn't do CrossFit. Like, he wasn't a CrossFitter.
The guy with the phone standing there didn't do CrossFit?
He wasn't a CrossFitter, dude. He wasn't.
This is the first time I've ever heard this where there's a CrossFit coach that doesn't do CrossFit.
Me too. It was kind of bizarre. So this guy had bought the gym. He was the third owner. I'm the 4th owner of this affiliate. He bought the gym from another guy, and he bought the gym because he caught a domestic abuse charge, got convicted, and part of his, I'm not sure what the right word would be, he had to essentially do community service for children. Like, to get do something they give back to you.
I fucking love this world.
So he buys the gym from this other guy that was kind of like just burned out, ready out of the business. And he fraudulently steals this franchise called Lean Teens, doesn't pay any affiliation to this Lean Teen program, puts a sign up for Lean Teens and runs across the gym. And then he basically monetizes this thing he has to do from the court to do public service for kids. So he charges for the Lean Teen program and then uses that as his community service so he doesn't go to jail.
Hey, let me ask you this real quick. Was he behind on his affiliate fees too? Like when you took over?
No.
Oh, wow. Impressive. All right.
Yeah.
First point for that guy. Good job, buddy.
Well, I think that's probably more of a CrossFit thing than a him thing. Like,
so at this point, when you leave there that day, does it go from there's no fucking way to, oh shit, I'm going to end up owning this? Like, did you actually?
It was crazy.
But when you were actually talking to him, were you like, okay, I bet you I'm going to end up owning this shit?
Yeah. So we talked, and he's like, yeah, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm ready to go to this one. I want to go back to Florida. I'm not into this whole CrossFit thing, and I want to sell it. And he had taken a membership from like 60 people. I think when I bought the gym, he was down to 7 or 8 paying clients.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like we're in like a strip mall. So he has like a retail space he's on the hook for rent for. And he was drowning for sure. So I talked to him. We essentially agreed that like he doesn't have a business worth buying, and that I would just buy his equipment and assume his lease if we were to move forward with this. So he sent me an itemized.
Is it a very honest, raw conversation? Like, do you just tell him like that? Is it, hey buddy, I don't see a business here, but I will take this off your hands for free.
I was like, all right, man. Well, like, I didn't know much about running a gym. Like, I was managing a gym, but I didn't know much about like, the financial aspect, because like the owners manage that. I was like, all right, well, how many members do you have? And he was like, oh, we've got like, there's a few members that are paying, and there's a lot of leads that are coming in through Groupon. I was like, all right, cool. So like, how many paying customers do you have? He's like, we have 8 or 9 right now. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So that's not good.
And you did everything you could not to laugh at that point or let your jaw hit the ground.
Yeah. And I was like, so you understand that, like, so you're losing money? He's like, yeah, for now, but there's a lot of good potential in this business. And I was like, all right, you have a leg press machine in your office, dude. Like, you don't tell me there's potential in this business. It's like, you don't understand what you're doing. So he basically sent me a Google spreadsheet with all the equipment he had itemized in the gym, and then what he thought it was worth with the total at the bottom. So we negotiated that a little bit, and then I was going to go to the bank and ask for a loan to buy it, So I actually told one of I had this guy I was training down in Weddington, him and his wife and their pool house. And I was like, hey man, there's an opportunity for me to buy a gym. This is kind of like the next evolution of my training career, my future. And I'd been training this guy for a little over a year and a half at the time. I'd go see him like 3 days a week and train him and his wife in their pool house. And I was, I've got a great friend of mine, I'm going to give her your number so you guys can connect about, training so she can keep it up for you, but I'm going to have to step away because of the responsibility of the gym. And he's like, okay, yeah, man, that's great. How much is the gym? Like, what do you need? And I was like, oh, it's going to be, this much to buy the gym. He's like, oh, okay, well, just send me your routing number and I'll help you buy it. You can just pay me back whenever you want to. I was like, what?
Another classic CrossFit story. Throw that in there with the base being first responders and mill guys and everyone. Another classic story. Incredible, dude.
Incredibly generous. So,
wow.
I didn't think it would actually happen, but then after that conversation, I was able to move forward pretty quickly because I didn't have to go to a bank to finance it,
Hey, that's the second person in this story. You have to imagine that. I mean, obviously you're being very humble, but those people who put you in charge of their gym, it's crazy. They must have seen something like crazy in you. And then now these people at the pool house must have seen something. Let me just ask you this. Those pool house clients, how many times did you cancel on them in that year and a half you were training them at their house?
Never.
Yeah, I figured. I knew that was the answer. Never. Yep. And there were things that you wanted to do, weddings or your own training, but they always came first.
Yeah, for sure, man. I have responsibility to them. I gave them my word I was going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Yeah. And I'm sure there were times that you went there, not a lot, but there were times you went there and they forgot or.
Yeah. They wouldn't be out there and I'd walk in the pool house and I'd hang out and wait for them. And they'd be in, 20 minutes later because something came up, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's their time, they're paying for it.
Yeah. That's the story, Greg Glassman had. You probably know the story, but he trained some really wealthy people, and he said they paid him by the hour. He said sometimes he'd wait in there 5, 6, 7, 8 hours all day. Really? And he would, and not only that, that's when he started writing his journal articles. That's where the inspiration for the journal came, sitting around waiting for crazy wealthy clients
to show up. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. So you make the deal on the gym and you get the gym.
Yeah, man. I mean, I met the guy and 2-3 weeks later, I was coaching class. It was mine.
Wow.
Yeah. That was crazy. It was wild how it all happened. Happened fast.
And you negotiated. I think I heard you say you talked to the landlord and you're like, hey, you got to give me 3 months free rent.
Yeah. I talked to the landlord. I was like, hey guys, I'll take this lease. Obviously his business is failing. I think I can save it. I think it has potential, and I'll re-sign for 3 more years. I just need you guys to give me 3 months to rebuild the client base so I can pay your rent. I had a little bit of money in savings as like an old shit fund. But I mean, I wasn't training the clients anymore. I wasn't at South Charlotte managing, so I didn't have any income. So I just had to go for it. I just jumped in and I was like, I can probably make this work, but you guys can give me some time. And I had to do like a personal guarantee on my house to be able to to sign the lease to take over the space. But yeah, they gave me 3 months. I think I bought the gym in October of 2017, and I didn't know rent until January 1, maybe February 1 the next year.
I wonder why they didn't just tell you to fuck off and get out. No, we're not doing it. We'll rent to someone else.
Well, I'm not in a part of town that's drawing a lot of tenants. Like they've got open spaces in the building.
Okay. And were they cool about it?
Yeah, the property manager was cool. Hunter was the property manager. He was a cool guy. He was cool. He's like, yeah, man, do your thing. He was really laid back. He's like, good luck. If you need anything, let us know. But
are you still in that same space today?
Yeah.
So 4 years you've been there.
5 years.
5. And what's the most clients you've ever had there?
110.
Oh shit. So you've grown it by more than 100 clients.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So like the Walgreens, they left, so they're not there anymore. That's
just empty.
It's empty. I tried to get the building, but it's just so expensive. It's insane being a retail spot.
Yeah, great. You mean to actually buy the building or to actually move your gym into the Walgreens spot?
To move my gym. I've thought about trying to buy this whole shopping center. Like I've entertained the notion of it. I haven't gone to the owner yet, but the owner lives in California, And I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to buy this place. Like, it could go one of two ways, but like there's a good chance it goes in a not a good way as far as owning it is concerned. So
God, wouldn't that be crazy if you owned a shopping center?
Yeah, it'd be pretty fucking wild.
It'd be fucking
How much
nuts.
space you have?
And in this journey, so you buy the place, and can you kind of take me through the process of how you got from here to 5 years? What are some of the things you start tackling right away to grow the business?
Yeah, I mean, I remember, so I was in the attorney's office in Charlotte to do the paperwork to sign over the gym and make the purchase. I mean, that happened at like 2 p.m. on like a Friday, and I was coaching class at 4:30 that day.
Wow.
You know, so like it was immediately just stepping in. And
dude, those clients must have tripped to go from the guy who doesn't do CrossFit to have you walk in there.
Yeah, they were pretty stoked.
Oh, they were stoked. Okay.
Yeah, they were excited. And then, so like when I got back into the gym, so here's an example of this guy, right? This guy that owned it before me, he heard about hero workouts. Like, he didn't know that was a thing, and he found out they existed. So he got excited, and he programmed hero workouts every day for a month.
Yeah.
So like the members told me that. And then at a certain point, they were like, all right, man, like we're not doing this anymore. So we're either going to leave or you can give us a key and we'll just come and go as you please. And he's like, all right, that sounds good. So he gave him a key. So the members, the ones that were still here, there were like 6 or 7 that were like a little group. They would just come in and like do their own workouts and, you know, come and go as they pleased. So I had to kind of overcome that and let them know, you know, how things were going to go. But they were cool because they were excited about having me there. But yeah, I bought the gym. I was coaching class that night. And then the first month was just me coaching 5:30 a.m., noon, 4:30 p.m., 6, you know, like all the classes. And then in between classes, I was trying to like give the gym a facelift because he didn't care about it. So it was a mess. So I tried to make it look at least more aesthetically appealing. So a lot of projects with my family that they'd come and help me work on it. And I was also training full time because I still want to go to regionals. So I was still training pretty hard. So I would coach class, work out, go print off like pamphlets and flyers and go drop in people's mailboxes and all the neighborhoods around, try to like just get our name out there. I got all of his old waivers he'd had signed from old clients that had been in the gym in the past and put all their emails in an email list, and then drafted up like a about me to send to them. And that helped. Like that got me from 8 to probably like 35 in maybe 2 weeks, you know?
Wow.
A lot of members that they still want to do CrossFit, but they find out, they've been members with the previous owner that owned it before this guy that I bought it from. But then, that guy got burned out because he was coaching all the classes and barely making enough money to get by. And like, it's like most CrossFit owners, affiliate owners that you hear about, they just get burned out and they sell it or they get out of the business because it just takes up their life. So they had left when they found out he sold it to this dude that had a domestic abuse charge. A lot of the women didn't want to be in the gym by themselves if he was going to be there, in classes. So they canceled. So then when I put out an email that I'd taken ownership and kind of given them my story, a lot of them, they were still wanting to do CrossFit. So they came back, they rejoined. So we got back up to 30, 40 members in a few months or less than that.
And did that meet your expectations?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that there's a good chance that would happen after I met the guy.
So that gave you like, oh, I'm not going to lose my house.
Yeah, dude. It was like, I can pay my mortgage and I can pay rent. Like, then this is going to be fine. Like, this is probably going to be okay. But I mean, when I bought the gym, like, I think that same week I called Chris Cooper and kind of told him my situation.
Why did you do that? Why did you call Chris Cooper? How did you hear about him?
I'd seen some of his blog posts online and I saw him in like a couple of CrossFit gym owner Facebook groups. So even before I bought the gym, I had joined a few affiliate owner groups on Facebook because I was running a gym prior. So I was trying to have ideas and like have somewhere to bounce ideas off and get feedback. So I'd seen him in there pretty actively. And I'd also seen other gym owners during my journey that looked like they maybe were on a path to get burned out being a gym owner. And I didn't want that for myself. As I bought it, I was 23 when I bought it, 24 when I bought it. So I didn't, and I mean, I don't have a degree, so I'm not sure how to run a business. I don't know what I'm doing. I like CrossFit and I'm a good coach and I like to work out, So that was kind of my prerequisites I had for owning an affiliate. So then I knew I didn't want to get burned out, and I knew I didn't want to ruin the gym or, end up like one of the other guys that sold it a year later. So I called them and told him, I was like, hey man, I've been following you for a while. I just bought a gym. The previous owner kind of ran it to the ground. I've got like $5,000 in the bank to cover rent, just in case I can't get it up to where it needs to be to pay for my bills. I could take that money and pay for your mentorship. And he was like, no, don't do that. He's like, get yourself up to a point where you can sustain your rent and your bills, get out of the red, and then call me and we'll do it. I was like, all right. So I spent like 3 or 4 months just kind of getting to a sustainable number. And then I called them back and signed up with him and went through the 2-brain process.
Did you actually talk with Chris Cooper?
Yeah, that was back when he was taking calls.
Wow.
He told me to make, he gave me an idea from Mike McAllowitz. It's called a seed client list. So he said, make your seed client list. He's like, get a piece of paper, put a smiley face and a frowny face. And then make another list with a $sign, and your clients that are on the $sign being like they spend the most money with you, and your clients that are on the happy side of the smiley face list, those are your best clients. If they're on both lists, talk to them and try to like get them to bring their friends in and like run ideas by them, because those are your best clients. So spend all your energy on those clients. And if you do that, you'll be okay. And then, give me a call back when you're in the green, and we'll do the 2-brain stuff.
And did you do that practice?
Yeah, on the phone. I was on the phone. I was like making a list with him. Whatever you say, dude. I just don't want to fuck this up. So yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, Chris is so cool. Anyone who gets to interact with him, he is so cool. And so, and did that help? Did you then pursue speaking to those clients, and how did those conversations go? What do you say to them?
I just mailed them, and I kind of told them where I was at, and what I hope to do with the gym, and what my goals were with the affiliate, and why I love CrossFit. And I asked them things like, what would you like to see in the gym? Like, what would be meaningful to you? What would make you want to come back? Like, why do you come to the gym? And then based on the feedback I got from them as to why they came, I used that in my messaging on social media and my email campaigns to talk to more people like them. Like, they made an avatar, right? So you talk to your avatar, and then that draws more people in.
Wow. So, that's so, that seems so logical. That's just basic algebra. What's working on this side of the equation? You ask them what's working, and then you go use that to tell the world.
Yep.
And then and everyone likes to help too, right? So then they are fulfilled by the fact that they get to help participate in your growth.
Yep. And there's something about people, like, I think when you see someone go all in on something and you see them there day in and day out in the mornings, every night, you can't ignore that consistency. So then, it's genuine. So, I mean, why wouldn't you want to help someone if they're genuinely trying to be successful? And, and it comes from a place of good intention.
After this 3 months that you just followed this small piece of advice that Chris had given you, small but potent, why not just keep the money you've saved and keep going? Why did you go back to him?
Because I knew that was just the surface. Like, that was just scratching the surface. There was so much more. And like, I mean, if I'm going to tell my clients that they need a coach in their corner to help them be successful, but I don't also practice what I'm preaching and like have a coach for myself, then who am I? That's
right.
Why shouldn't I have a coach?
Right. And so you signed up with him, and how did that go?
It was great. I signed up. I didn't work with Chris after that point through the mentorship process. I worked with Jeff Smith, who is still a mentor for 2-brain today. And I went through, they call it, I think they called it the incubator. It's the incubator. So you go through the incubator. It's like a 3 month.
That's the name of their program, Incubator?
Yeah, the initial part. So you sign up and you go through the incubator, or that's how it was back, 5 years ago. And that's essentially like a deep dive crash course on how to, not screw up being a gym owner, and like what to do, how to create systems, how to hire a cleaner, why you should hire a cleaner, how to change your mindset, how to sell personal training, why you should sell personal training, X, Y, all these different just basic gym owner things, how to manage your finances. And then after the 3 months of the incubator, you can choose to go to growth, which is essentially like a monthly subscription to be part of their Facebook group and have a mentor call every month with your mentor. And they'll help you set goals, pursue your goals, kind of give you advice and guidance based on their experience. It's just a mastermind. And I mean, I'm still in Two Brain. So that's been 5 years I've been doing that.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow. And you don't work for them?
No. I've thought about applying to be a mentor, but I haven't done it yet.
Wow. That is really cool. And have you helped other gyms with the stuff that you've learned from Two Brain?
Yeah.
Like people will call you and be like,
roundtables. Yeah.
Do you think that if you wouldn't have gone that way with Two Brain, things would have been different?
Yeah. Definitely.
When I spoke to him, the most powerful thing that he said to me that stands out, he probably said a ton of stuff, was that basically he made a shitload of mistakes himself.
Yeah.
And the way he explained the way mistakes happen was fascinating to me. He said, everyone knows the first thing you do. That's the easiest. You get the gym.
Yeah.
And then what's the second thing and the third thing and the fourth thing? And at some point down there, it becomes, should you get a new mirror in the bathroom or should you buy a new kettlebell? And he says, in these decisions, I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what the examples he gave me, but it was when I had him on the podcast when I was at CrossFit. And he said, basically, there's wrong decisions to be made there.
A lot of them.
Yeah, and so you want to make sure you're choosing that right path. It's kind of like that game Candyland or whatever those board games are where they got a million fucking paths. You don't want to fall down the wrong ladder.
Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, like the guys that owned it before me, they fucked up Candyland. Like they had it for a year, made a bunch of shitty choices, and like then they sold it. You know, like there was a reason I was the fourth owner, and I wanted to stop that.
Fourth owner in 4 years.
Yeah, dude.
That's amazing. Well, why do you keep paying? Why do you stay a CrossFit gym? Why not, now that you've had the success, just let your affiliate fees lapse and change the name to Mountain Island Coty Bradburn?
Because I value integrity. And to me, if I kept doing CrossFit and stopped supporting the brand of CrossFit, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. And I've gone back and forth, like, because Greg's not there anymore, and it's like the story of what is it? Odysseus' boat. It's like, if it's the same boat, but you've replaced all the boards on the boat, is it the same boat? I mean, I say it's the same boat. Like I still eat, breathe, and sleep CrossFit. I spend all my time listening to their podcasts and watching your videos, and people make me like, I care about it. So if I were to like disenfranchise from CrossFit or leave CrossFit to save $3,000 a year, it's like, that's not worth it. Like I'd much rather support the mission and the vision that Greg created and is still in motion in some way. Like, even though they're struggling right now with direction, I still hope that they can get back to their roots and pursue Greg's vision. And I'd much rather pay to support that than not.
What would be the equivalent elsewhere? The example that I've used a lot of times is it's a tithing you're paying. The way people would pay money to a church. Yeah. Or I heard Greg refer to it as, hey, we've let the cat out of the bag. Now the affiliates are just paying a brand loyalty payment. You use the word integrity. I like that. I wonder what I'm sure this is a really hard pill to swallow if you're running a company, right? Because like all the MBAs are like, well, of course we sell M&Ms and these pretty wrappers and we trick kids to buy them and we put them, at the counter there and we have them buy food that hurts them and it adds no value to their life, but we keep selling it to them. I mean, you know what I mean? But that's what they do. But yours is this reason that affiliates, I think, are staying on board is so abstract. And these people who work there want to add value. No one at HQ wants to be late. Well, I shouldn't say no one, but the vast majority of people don't want to be lazy. They want to find a way to add value to the affiliates, even if the affiliate fees are going to just pay. And someone like Craig Howard over at Pleasanton CrossFit or Diablo CrossFit has set the bar so low that like, hey, just don't fuck up the brand.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. Don't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Just don't poop on the doorstep. But those people want to add value. The people who work at CrossFit HQ, they want to add value.
Yeah, they're making an effort for sure. And it's getting better. Like they put out the affiliate roundtables. They put out the affiliate owner handbook. They're doing the quarterly affiliate owner meetups where they have people presenting like best practices, which is great. I'm glad to see that.
What did you think about that? Have you read the handbook?
I've read through it a little bit. I haven't read it front to back. I've checked out sections. There's a lot of stuff in there that I already do that I learned from Two Brain.
Do you think it's plagiarized from Two Brain?
No, I don't think so.
It's
not the same as Two Brain. Yeah, for sure. They're saying a lot of similar things in a different way, like with different voices. But the end outcome, the outcome still sounds the same to me. And there's a lot of stuff I could be doing better. There's a lot of things I could do better. And that's why I have the affiliate playbook on a tab and my computer always open, so I can go back and look at it when I have a few minutes to work on some personal growth and development from that. So I try and do that often. But even if CrossFit wasn't doing that, I would still pay my affiliate fees. I'd still be an affiliate because I'm proud to be an affiliate, and I'm proud to give them money to help them pursue their vision, their mission, and try to fix society because it's pretty fucked right now.
Word. I wonder if it's equivalent to your members paying you during the months you were closed down for COVID, because they believe or like I used to when where my kids do tennis or my kids do jiu-jitsu, it's more than just a place they do jiu-jitsu or do tennis or do skateboarding. It's a place that I don't want it to go away no matter what. It's a community for my kids.
100%.
I would be so bummed if one of these places closed down. Not because they couldn't do the sport anymore, but because that community, where would that community go? Yeah, so it's sort of so it's kind of that, right? Big picture. You pay into that to make sure the community stays together. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
So interesting. How long were you closed during the pandemic restrictions or whatever the fuck people call it these days?
2 to 3 months, somewhere in there.
Oh, okay. So did you give the middle finger and just open it back up? That doesn't seem very, Police ever come?
No.
Awesome. I'd love to hear that. Thank you, officers of Charlotte, for not going to the gym and letting people get healthy.
Yeah.
What do you tell people if someone asks you what you're selling? What do you tell people? Or does anyone ever ask you that?
Not in those words, but when that topic comes up, I tell them I'm selling the solution to their problems. And that's what it comes down to. Is this will solve your problem if you listen to me and take my advice. But that's
relationship. I'm having relationship problems. Sure, this will help with that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
you're having problems at work. Person. Yeah. It really is amazing. How does it work for someone to become a member at your gym?
Yeah, so say somebody comes in on the website and they have questions. I'll call them and we'll schedule. We have a couple steps in the process. We do a discovery call. So they'll fill out the lead form. I'll get their information. They get a text from me. Hey, have you had a chance to book an appointment yet? And it'll prompt them to schedule a call. So then that way they're getting a response back immediately. And then I'll go back if they haven't responded. I'll give them a personal call if they haven't responded in a few hours if I'm available. And schedule a discovery call. That's usually 7 to 10 minutes. And we'll just talk about, okay, who are you? What's your goal? Why do you want to come to the gym? And if it sounds like a good fit, then I'll schedule an in-person consultation. But if I'm on the phone and someone says hey, I want a place to come work out and do my own thing, all right, cool, man, this isn't the place for you, but go check out this gym down the street, But if you're hey, I want to lose weight, I want to get healthy, I want to make, be a better person, I want to, any of those things. Okay, sounds great. Let's get you in the gym and we'll schedule a free no sweat intro. They'll come in for 30 to 45 minutes and meet with me or my wife, and we'll sit down right over there and talk about just their history, where they've been, what they've done, what's worked, what hasn't worked, what their goals are, why their goals matter to them, and then, how we solve their problems with CrossFit, what CrossFit is, and then we'll talk about our onboarding process and then present the options. And it's a prescriptive model, which I learned from Two Brain. So if somebody comes in and they're and they haven't worked out in 20 years and they're afraid of being in a group, I'm not going to suggest they take group classes. I'm going to suggest personal training, for 1 or 2 or 3 months. And then after they become confident and competent and they're being consistent with some personal accountability coach, and then they're safe in class, maybe then if they want to, they can graduate to group classes. But I got 2 clients out there right now that don't want to do group classes. So they're doing one-on-one training with Megan and they're happy with that. But if I took that same client and threw them in a class, they're probably going to fail. So we have that conversation on the front end so I can make a recommendation and then we'll move forward from there.
Do you ever say to a client, hey, you've been here 6 months. I know you said you're not interested in a group class. I really think it would be an important stimulus for you and life experience for you. I'm not suggesting you do it all the time, but I really think that it would add value to you. If nothing else, get you out of your comfort zone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Carl, he comes in the mornings at 6:30 a.m. And we always recommend he try some classes out and get around some of his peers and push himself a little bit. Yeah. We have clients like that.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's like that in jiu-jitsu. It's like, or in tennis or in anything, like, hey, you might not want to be a competitive skateboarder or a competitive tennis player, but it's important to at least sign up for a tournament once a year or to at least get out there and experience it. And the vast majority, just to break through your fears, right?
For sure.
Or your preconceived notions. I never wanted to go to an affiliate but going to an affiliate's like sex. Sometimes you don't want to have it, but you never, ever regret. Yeah, you need it. Right. You need it. And you never regret it.
Yeah.
I've never gone to an affiliate and worked out and been like, oh, I didn't like that. It's always like, even if the worst experience in the world, I still had a fucking great time working out with the other people in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Look they heard me say that and all the porn sites started botting us.
Russian bot forms.
What happens next for you? Is a second affiliate in sight for you?
I don't think so, man. I mean, we could, but my mentor that I work with now, Jeff Juka, he put it well a couple months ago on one of our calls. Because at this point, with my my gym ownership, I could do a couple of things, right? I could functionally retire and step away and go pursue other things I wanted to. I could open a second location, another affiliate. But I don't really have an interest in either of those things. So you can either go big or you can go deep. And my wife and I decided we want to just go deep with our affiliate. So we want to be present, continue to help our coaches develop and get better at coaching, continue to refine our member experience, and consider to pour into the community like the way we're doing it now, and just continue that, try to get more depth with them, and just make this affiliate as impactful as we can. The next thing I'm trying to do is buy a building so that I can own some commercial real estate and I could get some tenants to help create some additional revenue streams and to help me pay the note down, so that I can go from being a renter to an owner.
Right.
And then I might pursue seminar staff. I'm undecided on that just because of my wife being pregnant and having our first child on the way.
Right.
So those are the two big things, other than just growing my gym and making my affiliate as good as the best affiliate I can. I'd like to be able to, move us into a dream gym that I own or that we own.
Right.
And maybe apply to be on seminar staff if I have, what it takes.
Yeah. When the baby comes out, it's for sure going to change. I don't know in what way, but it's for sure going to change your perspective. Like in this second, you're going to be a dad, and then you kind of start to see the world. Even if you don't want, you start seeing the world, you'll start wanting to be more familial with everyone. Like you're saying, you want to go, it sounds like you're already going in that direction. You'll want your gym to be deeper, because you're going to, everywhere you go, you're going to be nesting. You know what I mean? Everywhere you go, you're going to be like, would my son or my daughter be happy here? Is this an adequate place? You start doing that. You take everything to the next level.
Right.
It's like I never in a million years, when I go to the skate park, the first thing I do is I walk around and look for trash and needles and anything that would cause my kids to trip while they're skateboarding or dangerous to them. If I see other kids' sweatshirts on the ground, I pick them up and hang them up. Just dumb shit that old people do. I can't even fucking believe it.
Not dumb shit though, dude. That's a reflection of who you are as a person, man. That's so
I can't even help it. I just turned into a dad. You just can't even help it. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, why should you? But what's better than that?
right. I wear some when it's too hot. I wear the sombrero so my fucking skin doesn't burn. Yeah, I do all the old people shit. I look at birds. Yeah, so you're going to be headed that way, man. Your affiliate members are really going to benefit from that next level of depth.
I hope so.
That you're going to add, yeah.
I hope so.
I really appreciate you coming on. Was there any stone that you thought, hey, I want to make sure I share this story while I'm on there that maybe we didn't talk about?
I don't think so, man. I appreciate what you guys are doing for CrossFit, even though you're no longer employed by them. I hope they hire you back if you'd even take a job. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think that gym owners and CrossFit gym owners specifically, I just hope they don't lose sight of why they opened an affiliate to begin with. And one of my coaches put it well, like, our society nowadays wants to tell us that we need to be bigger and like successful and as wealthy as possible and grow, become this like as big as you can. But there's also nothing wrong with being that mom and pop shop that impacts people's lives in a meaningful way. And I think that's worth pursuing and being proud of.
I mean, look, you were doing some guy in a pool house, him and his wife in a pool house, and in a meaningful way, and they did you back.
Right.
It's kind of it's amazing, right?
It absolutely is.
Hey, when that happens, who's the first? Do you go back to your car and just call your girlfriend right away and just be like, or your mom, and you're like, you're never gonna fucking believe this.
Yeah.
That's what I do whenever that shit happens.
And I was like, I sat in shock. I didn't want to believe it. I was like, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. That's probably not gonna happen. Like, he's just being a nice guy. He's just saying that. And I didn't want to believe it until like I saw the wire transfer go through. And when that happened, like, it just settled in that it was actually possible. And that was, it changed my life. You know, how else can you say it?
Are you still friends with him?
I wouldn't say we're friends. We stay in touch. And he comes to visit the gym sometimes. And like, I still check on his son and how his son's doing in football. It was a big part of my life, but once we were able to get squared up, and it was just a natural progression that we
are
on paths. I wish that he could have been a part of it, but he lives about an hour away from where my affiliate is now, so
right,
it's not realistic to expect that.
Yeah, the people on this podcast, it's like crazy. Every day, someone either says something to me, sends me something, gives me something, does something for the podcast that kind of blows me away.
Yeah.
It's and you must see that in your gym all the time, just being around such a good community.
Yeah, man. I think there's people who have a lot of generosity in their hearts. They just need somewhere to express it.
Right.
It's easy to think that doesn't exist out there, but it does.
Oh, it's crazy exists. You got to be just open to it, right? Too.
Yeah, you have to be open to it. You have to look for it and be willing to accept it.
If you don't give a shitload, you won't receive a shitload. No. But you can't give, and you can't give. It's weird. I need to learn how to phrase it, but you can't be giving thinking that you're going to be returning shit. There's this thing. The only kind of metaphor that I can think of is there. I think I saw it in the Bible. There's this thing in the Bible where if you pray in church, you'll receive the glory of God in church. If you pray behind closed doors, you'll receive the glory of God in abundance in your life. And the way I take that is like if you give to people expecting in return, you're going to get, like if I wait till someone's looking before I give them something. Yeah. So that the whole world, that's the accolades I get.
Yeah.
But still, when you do generous things, just because you're a generous person, it still puts the world in motion to give back to you. I know it sounds magical, but I think that's how I'm seeing it work at 50.
Who's to say that magic isn't real?
Right. Philip Kelly, how did Coty prepare to take his L3? You have your L3, Coty?
Yeah.
Dang.
I got it back in May.
How did you prepare for that?
So whenever the governor shut down gyms for COVID, we, my wife and I were at home. All of our members that stayed on with us, we rented them out equipment. So they all took kettlebells, dumbbells, barbells, plates, rowers home. And every morning we wake up, we'd have a list. We split the list in half, right? And we would text all of our clients specific modifications of the workout of the day based on the equipment they have, and then tell them why they should do it based on their goals. And then that was our mornings. We spend a few hours in the morning doing that, about 40 to 50 clients a piece. We'd go through and text them all and make sure that they were set and had a plan for the day. And then in the evenings, we would check them. Hey, how'd it go? What was your time? What was your score? Send us a picture post workouts. We know you did it, just some accountability, and to give them some kind of value for keeping up their payment with us. But in between those hours, there wasn't much to do. So I decided I was going to take my level 3. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the level 3 study material, but it's essentially this PDF of probably 7 or 8 pages. And they've got, I don't know, 100 to 120 articles from the journal in just 6 different categories. So every day, every morning before we texted clients, I'd wake up a little bit earlier, have some coffee, and just sit on the couch and pick a few articles and read through them. And that was years ago, a couple years ago, So I read through a lot of the articles, and then the gym reopened. I got back into coaching full time. I got back into trying to rebuild the gym and my team. So I got away from that for a while. And then after I had some good coaches back on my staff and I had some more time, I went back to studying again. So I went back and reread all the articles, highlighted them, took notes. And then I took a couple online courses for programming with, Chuck, watched any videos I could find about the level 3, but there's not much out there.
With Chuck who?
Chuck Carswell. Like he has an online course for programming. He teaches it.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah. So that's like $60, man. Like it's super cheap, right? So anybody listening that wants it, I would say take that. I went back and did the judges course. I went back and watched Spot the Flaw courses and, reviewed all those and took notes. But I just read the materials that they give you. There's not really a better way. I mean, all you can do is obsess over CrossFit. Read the old articles, read the stuff in the study guide that they give you. I watched videos every night with E.C. Sinkowski. She's talking about, nutrition. So I watched a lot of her stuff and tried to understand just the methodology at its core. But there's not really like a secret way to prepare for it. Like you've got to love CrossFit. You got to know CrossFit. You got to believe in CrossFit. If you don't believe in it, you're not going to pass it. And
then how was the test?
It's hard. It's, you go to a Pearson VUE testing center and you can't talk. You're in front of a computer. They give you a notepad and you have I think 2 or 3 hours to take it. It's like 120, 150 questions. And it's mostly just it was mostly like scenarios. Like, okay, you have this new member that comes into the gym and, he's a college kid. He hasn't worked out in 2 years. He partied last night. He's hungover. Which one of these workouts is the most at risk of giving him rhabdo, right? Or what's the most dangerous workout he could do? Or you've got these 3 clients working out, and then this is the workout of the day. They've got, this client uses this weight, this client uses this weight, this client uses this weight. This is their individual times. Who produced the most power during their workout? So things like that, And then there's a lot of, questions about just the methodology in CrossFit and stuff that you read about in those articles.
Did you leave that thinking you passed?
So when you leave, they give you the response. They give you your pass fail right away.
Oh shit.
When I finished the test, I was pretty confident I passed it because a lot of the questions I wasn't wondering. I was pretty confident in my answers. Going into it, I was really nervous. I was going to put it off because my wife and I were about to go on our honeymoon. So we were about to go to Costa Rica for 2 weeks. And one of my coaches, she was like, you should take the test before you go. Because if you don't, you're going to be stressed out your whole honeymoon and you're going to be studying.
Oh, good advice.
Just take it, get it over with, and then go relax. So I did. So I was stressed going into it. But then when I finished it and I finally went back and checked a couple of my questions that I hadn't been sure about and finalized my answers and submitted LC, I was pretty confident. So I got up and walked out and they handed me the pass. And that was a great feeling, man, because that was a really big goal of mine.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's basically my college degree.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they're going to have a level 4 now, it looks like.
I just saw that. Yeah, that's my next goal.
You will get right on that, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to go for it for sure. I'm probably going to get smoked my first try, but I'm going to try.
And would you, so the process of studying for the level 3 is what makes you a better coach. I'm guessing that made you a significantly better coach, just all the hours you put in studying.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sarah Summer, I used to coach for Coty. He was one of the best affiliate owners to be under. He genuinely cared about the development and making us the best. I can only imagine things have gotten better. Love the show. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Coty has been killing it since the grid years. Oh, you did
good.
Dude.
Grid, man. That was back in the day. We did the SAGL. Corey and I were on different teams. No, I think we're on the same team. We did grid for a few months, for a while.
Thank you, Corey. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I was looking forward to this all day, so I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, anytime. You got my number. Text me anytime. Good to meet you. Yeah. Lots of nice things said here. Lots of good information. I think I'm stoked on this podcast. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, me too, man. I really appreciate it, Sevan. Thanks again.
Okay, and don't hesitate. I always tell all the guests this. Don't ever hesitate to text me. No one can bug me. I have no problems ignoring people, and I also have no problems like texting me 24 hours a day. So like no one can bug me.
Okay. Well, if you guys are ever in Charlotte and you to come work out, let me know.
For sure.
Okay, but you got a place to sleep too.
Okay. Oh, and from Michael. Sorry, Michael. My problem with the L3 is the cost to maintain it. What's that mean?
He probably means that you have to maintain a certain level of CEUs. So you have to go do online courses. You have to go to in-person seminars. You have to go to things that CrossFit has sanctioned as approved from CrossFit to be able to maintain your level 3. I'm not sure the exact requirements, but
here we go.
Like you'll put into anything. Like what you put into what you care about is a reflection of the value associated to it. So if you value CrossFit, you'll invest the money into it to maintain your level 3. If you don't, that's fine. You maybe just don't waste your time doing it. Just keep it on level 1s and level 2s, and that's fine. That's not wrong. But like the money that I'm going to spend to maintain my level 3 is insignificant to the value I get from being a level 3.
Damn, Coty, you should be on seminar staff. You already got the answers. They should pay you $1,000 for that answer. That was a great answer. Oh wait, so let's pull up the poll. Thank you, Caleb. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad we made it to the 2-hour mark. The question was, does Coty cut his own hair or does he go to Supercuts? 48% cut his own hair. I'm going to say he cuts his own hair too. He's got like that manly shit going. He's not like me. Or does he go to Supercuts? Coty?
I go to a barber shop and my barber open carries a Glock on his hip.
Oh no, we need another poll. Or does he go to a barber who carries a gun?
Should have more answers. Damn it.
Okay. Thanks, dude. Great meeting you.
You too, man.
Our paths will cross again, I'm sure.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, ciao.
All right, guys, take care.
Damn, good ending. So that's good. So that makes up for the fact that he doesn't cut his own hair. He still gets the tick in the masculine section because the barber carries a Glock.
Probably one of those barber shops that like you can get whiskey at too.
I bet you his barber's Russell Berger. His barber's Russell Berger. Amazing. All right. Tomorrow we have on as a guest a young lady. Maybe she's not even a young lady anymore, but I knew this girl. I knew of this girl when she was 16 because I worked with her mom and her dad at CrossFit events. And her name is Devin Kim, and now she is like a full-blown badass CrossFitter. I mean, she was a badass CrossFitter as a kid too, I remember, but I just paid her no mind because I was too busy with the camera and Josh Bridges' face. But I remember seeing her doing the demos at the Del Mar Regional in San Diego, California, and she would do the demos with Adrian Bosman, and she was just a young girl. And now she's going to be on the show, and she's competing at the Zello Games. And I actually ran into her at the ranch a couple months ago. And it took me a while and she was so kind and polite and turned into this mature woman. And now I'm finally making the connection where I knew her. But anyway, she's coming on the show at 7 a.m. tomorrow. I can't wait to get reacquainted with her. And then tomorrow evening, Brian Friend And Andrew Hiller will be joining me on the show to discuss Zello games. I should learn how to pronounce it. Then on Wednesday, we have Christine Kohlenbrander at 7 a.m., another amazing athlete I've never met before. I'm excited to meet her. And then in the evening, on Wednesday night, we have Aaron Cairo on. He is the king of YouTube when it comes to skateboarding. He is the man. He has built an organization called Braille. They own YouTube when it comes to skateboarding, and I think he's made it his life goal to make skateboarding accessible to everyone. He is a pretty hardcore, benevolent dude, a giver of the highest level, and I'm really excited to have him on. I think most kids these days know who that is. Thursday, Jason Grubb. We've had him on before. Great guy, one of the nicest guys ever. Masters champion in CrossFit. No one scheduled for Friday yet. Saturday, no one. Oh, I like it when. Okay. Oh, Saturday and Sunday we have the Zellos games. Okay, so we're getting there. Regardless how that turns out, that's going to be a blast this weekend. A bunch of us will be on here. We will be doing our best. It's our first time broadcasting something. It's pretty experimental. I'm excited about it. Even if there's like fights between us and camera movements, and either way, you get to see the behind the scenes and the real thing simultaneously. It's going to be quite the fun show with moments of a lot of shit being tossed around. Yeah, that was the best answer ever, right? That was. And Michael, thank you for the question and thank you for the $10. Thanks for throwing the alley-oop up for Coty. CrossFit Mountain Island, they serve beer. Who serves beer?
The barbershop he goes to.
Oh, that's nice. Coty, your mom was on here saying how proud she was of you. I wanted to pull the comment up, but then it blew by me. I apologize. But it sounds like you got a good crew of support and loving family. You're a good dude. All right. Any final words, Caleb?